Welcome back to Dr. Schneider Does Some Modeling. So, first things first, let's get adjusted to the camera. Now, what I want to do, real quick, is just check this out. Whoa! It's done! So this was like my secret project. The Tesseract Vault. Very nice. I like it. You might be wondering about another project. The 13th Primarch. He's so small in comparison. You stop being Garbaggio. And, as an added bonus, I've been working on a Morlock / Trigon / Trigon Prime. I think I'm going to be leaning towards the Prime, but I haven't decided yet. I don't have to decide until the next step. We also have Forge World stuff. Look at that. So here you have a little pamphlet that explains Forge World and kind of how you build it. I did get a drill, which has different heads. I got the pylon, because it's awesome. That's the entire instruction book. It doesn't tell you how to put anything together, it just gives you pictures of the finished product. 1 page, double-sided. This is the manual for the Disruptic Construct. Look at all the parts. There's the exploded version. It's got a bloody table of contents, basically. It's not actually. It's a list of parts. And it's in color. Look at that. And it's not that many steps for such a huge model. It seems there's more prep work than there is actual assembly. But it's got no weapons. The weapons need a rulebook and an instruction manual. But look at that! It's a full-on, full-color instruction manual for the guns. And I did go with the Synoptic Obliterators. I might change my mind, but we'll see. And for the main event, the new Illuminor Szeras. I actually pre-ordered this model and got it fairly early on, but my work schedule has just made it so I haven't been able to do anything with it. So let's get the plastic off. I have no idea what's inside, except for the screws that have the model on it. I don't know if the rules come with it. I don't know what there is. But there it is. Interestingly enough, they used the old logo on this, even though it was designed with 9th edition in mind. Here's the back, with a little color guide and some other close-ups. And I think I'll open it on this side. Maybe I just won't open it at all. I think they revealed the logo before they released this, though. Like showcase the model, but they didn't show the box. I'm pretty sure. But I get... Yeah, I know. But the 9th edition rule books and in the Indominus box were all made ahead of time, too. And someone had to make the Indominus box. So, that's it, one sprue. Let's just flip through the instruction guide real quick. There are lots of little bits. Also, welcome to the stream. There's the data. So, this, right here, is everything that comes in the Necron Psychic Awakening. You don't need to buy Pariah if you have that. So he's kind of similar to the original Illuminor. Hello, Hunter. So the original Illuminor, which I have back here, it's a little boy. I do have Indominus. I actually was able to pre-order it from Games Workshop before it sold out. But you'll see that the original one has a little patch of decorative base here that connects him to his base. The theme is continued here, just much bigger. We go from a 40 mil base to a dreadnought base. So, let's get started. We want 1, 2, and 3. I like that now they come in order. So I remember a lot of the older kits, you start with like 14, and it's like, why? I like to clip this in camera, but at the same time, there's so many little noblins on here. So there's one oriented in this direction. Then we define 2 and 3. Have to clean them up as well. Well, bloody hell, wouldn't you know that my headset started dying? I have to awkwardly plug in a charging cord. How awkward is that? Hey, streamer, get your shit together. So it looks like 2 and 3 are nearly identical, just mirrored. So this one goes on that side. I don't know how interesting people find these unbox and build streams, but it gives me a good excuse to build. Alright, let's get this tidied up. So this is his spine and chest. It's got the cartouche on it. It's very delicate. There's a little plastic here that's already turned white from being rough handled, just from clipping it out. Luckily, it's not too hard to clean up. Just a little bit here. So, to further the previous question, I'm not only getting Indomitus, but I'm also getting the new objective terrain kits. 3 for Space Marines, 3 for Necrons. Because, frankly, those objective markers are the first official Necron terrain that wasn't also a Realm of Battle tile. I'm buying 2 halves of Indomitus from my Space Marine friends for 3 copies of the Necron half. And I'm keeping my Space Marine half because I do have Space Marines. Everyone has Space Marines. You can't play this game and not have Space Marines. Games Workshop forces you to play Space Marines. You don't have to main Space Marines, but if you get a box like Indomitus, or First Strike, or Dark Imperium, or anything else that's considered an introductory kit, there's Space Marines in it. Even if you get their $10 magazine, you know, the Getting Started with Warhammer, it's got a Space Marine. That's how they roll. So, facing this way, we put them on like this. Interesting. So, this is his pelvis. I'm going to need to buy new glue soon. This one's acting up. We only want to put glue on this one contact point. This is one of those weird things. It's part of that Games Workshop trend where basically they put joints in really weird spots so that you can't buy bits and kit bash effectively. And that looks like it's the right angle. There's little pipes that connect to the legs. So if the hips don't line up properly, then the pipes won't line up properly, and the entire leg assembly will basically be garbage. So that looks good as kinky metal loincloth. Also, for Indomitus, because that's the big topic, I'm going to keep painting all the Necrons that are not named characters as the Sawtek Dynasty, because that's what I play. Unless there's a really good incentive to play the new one. Oh, 5 is such a weird piece. But Illuminor, being a named character, will get painted like the box, because he is factionless anyway. I'm pretty sure he's still factionless. Let's give a quick look. Necron's character, Infantry, Cryptek, Illuminor, Szeras. Yes, so he can do whatever he wants. I've been itching to put this guy together since I got him, though. Just been sitting on my desk saying stream me, and I've had to say no, I have to get up at 4 in the morning for work. I can't. I use a slightly dull hobby knife so that when I'm cleaning up parts I don't cut my finger. I think that was Discord finally realizing I was streaming. Took a sweet little time. So when you're cleaning up a part, just in case there's someone new watching, you just kind of turn the knife in the same plane, then go 1 degree towards the model, like you tilt it forward, and then you just rub back and forth, and the smallest layer will come off, and you just gently rub it till it's smooth. It doesn't have to look smooth, it just has to be smooth to the touch, because if you can't feel the difference, then when you paint over it, it'll be fine. There's one back here too. Another trick you can do is instead of cutting forward, you can pull backwards, and any raised area will get shaved off. Alright, so we did get the hips on right, because the way his loincloth clips on, there's a little shaped recess right up front, and it connects on both sides, absolutely flush. That's satisfying. The absolute quality of these models, not gonna lie. And this is his front leg, which actually connects to this pipe, the bespoke pipe. So there's a triangle joint here to get it lined up, and then the pipe helps line it up further. So the triangle puts in the right direction, but for the swing this way, the pipe helps you out. Now plastic glue doesn't actually glue so much as melt the two sides together, so you need to apply just a bit of pressure so that when it melts the plastic, the two halves mix together. Now, this is just his leg and up to his chest, and it's already as tall as the entire original model plus the staff. Next, we want to do a scenic base subassembly. This is a wild piece. Oh, and there's a little Aquila down there. He's mucked a Space Marine. There's a little scarab down there. Broken concrete with rebar. Be very fun to paint. It's very adventurous to clip out. And 8 is this one. I don't like that. So they have a big honking flow channel right down here, but I'll do it close to the camera. So down here they have this massive thick flow channel, but the only connection is this very tip of his leg. It flexes a lot when you snip it out. So if I had to cut this guy out again, like if I built a second one for someone else, I would clip that part last so that this part is free to move without bending. The hard part now is tidying up the connections, but not damaging the scenic part of the base. And because it's a ruined landscape, sometimes it's hard to tell what's base and what's not. So there's 3 connection points on this one. And it's so much different than the Warhammer TV tutorial. You're like, you just do this and this, transition through a black screen, and now we're done. On to the next step. I think they show you all of 2 seconds of this part of the process. It really sucks that Twitch is cracking down on the music scene, so I can't really play anything themey to pass the time while I'm just kind of quietly scraping away. Oh, also, once I finish assembling and painting the Indominus box, I am most certainly going to try my hand at battle reports. So if you want to see someone who's never really done real live video, like this isn't real live, this is a webcam on top of my computer tilted downwards at a silly angle. But I'm talking like, a real camera playing on a board, not bound 6 inches away from my computer. Okay, it's more than 6 inches. Right, so this was the wrong piece. This was actually 6 here. I'm off to a good start. Professional hobbyist here. It's one of those, the 6 is real close. I wasn't really looking at the picture at the time. That's okay. It's just cleaning apart for later. We're prepping it. It's the equivalent of a happy little accident. In fairness, most of these parts are very distinct, so you could probably be given the instructions and the parts clipped from the sprue and be fine. The only one that you might have to double take is literally parts 2 and 3. but when you dry fit them, it becomes quite obvious. So a 6 oriented thusly, and then 7 goes this way, and it goes like underneath. Yeah, it does. Look, it clips right in. Look at that. So I need to put glue along there. I can't emphasize enough how important dry fitting is. It makes all the difference. And now, this part clips this way into here. There we go. Nice. Let's load that up with some glue. Once again, look how seamless these new models are. It's just the absolute smoothest fit. Stop being a wank camera. There. When you paint over that with your primer, it will not show. And if you're worried about it, you can always use a little modeling clay or green stuff. Just put it thinly over. Liquid green stuff would be even better for this situation. Just paint over and then sand it down or use a file. Then we want parts 9, 10, and 11. Let's take the correct ones out this time. So these are his butt cheeks, I guess. He doesn't really have butt cheeks on the original model. It's more of a thorax. Not to be confused with the lorax. Okay, there's only 4 legs, gotta be one of them. That's the one. So we're going to release the leg first. And we're going to cut out the terrain portion. And that came out a lot more nicely. And then we'll just tidy these up a little bit, because if I know my Necron anatomy, this part specifically probably shows. Necron anatomy is mostly pretty easy. It's just, do you know skeletal structure? Necrons. Tomb Kings in space. When I first... So, my friends played Warhammer for a long time, fantasy, and 40k, like 10 years ago. Probably 6th or 7th edition. Not sure when it switched over. And I was like, guys, you suck. Let's just play Magic. Because they took it out, and the kits were really ugly back then. And then they had to paint them. And I still hate painting with the passion of 1,000 dying babies. But I've got over it. Because I'm 30 now. And I can deal with it. I think I'm alright. How, the Tesseract Vault and Guilliman turned out. When I'm doing the underside that glues down, I don't mind being a little bit rougher. It's more important to me to have it smooth. Because I can always hide any imperfections along the edge with Armageddon dust. So these go somehow they go on here. So they definitely go in this direction. Sometimes they put parts on backwards. I'm having trouble seeing exactly how it fits on. This is a bit of a thorax. Does it actually rest on them? I guess it does. So it says to only glue on this peg. I'm just gonna dab on here too. You'll have to excuse me, I'm not at my best. I still think Home for Rest is a good song. I'm also Canadian, so that might be why. Don't tell anyone, it's secret. So the important part here is you want them to be parallel lines. Looks like we've met with success. And this big honking piece connects strictly with this one joint. And we just kind of awkwardly hold it. And for this part, I feel it's important to kind of put it down flat and fiddle around with it a bit before it dries. And then this piece clips onto here and there, strengthening the connection, but also it fits so well, it basically clipped in. Very good sign for me, because it means I did it right. Once again, a little bit of pressure on the contacts. It says you do this step more or less simultaneously, but I think, once again, in the future, I'll add his spider butt after this part. Alright, so there's a crack there, but it's intentional. I guess it's from the force of him jamming into it. Right, now I want part 12, which is the spine. Do you need a number to find that one? Now I don't know when the painting stream will be, because the weather is kind of weird. We have heat waves where it's so hot the paint would dry before it even left the can for base coating. By base coating, I mean priming. But I use a paint primer, so it's kind of both. I'll probably be doing him in green. Do I want to? He's that weird brass color. I might actually use their new spray. But here's the thing, in Canada it's hard to get sprays. Like Macragge Blue Spray. You can't get that from Games Workshop Canada. You can go to literally any other country and order it and have it shipped here. But if you use the Canadian site of the web store, they don't even list it as an item anymore. Also, not Lead Belcher. And I have a green there. It's not Caliban green because they discontinued it, but it's the next best thing. I use, I think it's called Camo Green paint primer from Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum is very forgiving. So, it connects like, what is going on? So it wants the ball on the bottom. It wants this piece here. Okay, and there's a very slight divot that sits into there. Okay. A little bit there, and a little bit there. There are no other contact points. Let's give it a little press. Looks like he's a back mohawk. Szeras has always been unhealthily skinny, in my opinion. But please just cooperate. Alright, I'm going to leave that to set for a minute. So now we're putting his ribs on. His 13 and 14. It's right here. If you are enjoying watching me build kits and perhaps subsequently painting them, do drop a follow to know when I go live. I mostly play video games right now because it's easy to do, but I'm in the process of maybe moving and setting up a table. I literally got all the materials to build a 6x4 table, and then they turned around and said unto me, "The size of the game shall be rendered smaller." And I said, "That's nice." So I'll have a 6x4 table, and sometimes I'll play a big game. Depends on myself and my opponent. I like big tables, but where is 15? There it is. It's like one of those, in the Deathmark version of the Immortals kit, you have to, like, put on the hose of the Synaptic Disintegrator. It just doesn't come with it. But anyway, GameMat.eu already has a minimum size game mat available for pre-order to release in the same day as Indominus, which is the end of the week. So if you have the cash, I don't know what the price is off the top of my head, so I haven't ordered mine yet. I'm probably going to. It'll just make finding the dimensions of your game easier, having an appropriately sized mat. I've watched some battle reports, and mini wargaming. They literally are just like, we just ignore the first 2 inches. And everyone in the chat giggled. And I was in the chat, therefore I also giggled. So I'm doing 2 steps at once to give the spine the maximum possible amount of time that's reasonable to start binding. Ideally, you'd want to give it like an hour or something to cure, but could you imagine every step of the model you left it for an hour or even overnight? That is an exercise in tedium. And sometimes you kind of want it to be a little bit malleable in case things don't fit together quite right. I think you still have some wiggle room. Like for the Tomb Blade kit, you really have to work efficiently when you're popping the pilot in and then putting all the connecting hoses in. You need that play to be successful. So this somehow clips into here. Front view. So this is onk, so this chest has to go around it somehow. Why does this not fit? Do these go upwards? Yes. There we are. Right, so these that look like hanging tassels are actually uppies. Probably be easier to just do it this way. There we go. It's a bit of an awkward angle to hit that peg, but fits in very nicely once you land it. The peg for this one is more dorsal. Excellent. A very unique way to assemble a Necron. For large characters, Games Workshop. Please don't make this a trend. I should also, real quick, just put a dab of glue here, because they actually touch at the back. So I want them to bind tightly to each other as well. Now, we put his head on. I love how they made a hollow inside of his head, but no peg for it. If I knew that I could get to the head later, I would glue this on after, so I could more easily paint his ribs. But because I don't know if it'll be hard to physically reach that part, I'm going to just put it on now. And this goes in here somehow. This is a part that in the future I would definitely figure out ahead of time. Where does this even go? Oh my god. Alright, so it connects into here, into the back. Wow, that is such a weird... So, it plugs into his side, and then goes around to his spine. It's very awkward. All I'm going to say, Illuminor, is you're very lucky that you're strength 6 now. This is a lot of trouble to go through if he were still strength 4. Once you do the awkward finagle, once again, it just goes in seamlessly. As my camera refuses to focus, there we go. So next we want 19 and 20, which are his arm parts. Look at the size of his staff. Her. It's actually not that many flow channels. For such a detailed piece, they'd normally have tons. That's so satisfying to pull that out. You guys don't even know. So what's Szeras up to now? Like 6 arms? I want 19, which is the one that has a massive thumb and no fingers. It looks to me like the idea is to put this arm on first and then throw the staff on. And this is something I hope we see more in the new Necron kits, is, you know, male and female parts that are shaped specifically to the hole, that put you at precisely the correct angle. Because what I hated most about Necron warriors in particular was they had to be lined up very specifically, but they just had a ball joint. Like with the Immortals, they had that hose connecting their spine to their gun, so you put that on first, and then, even though the other arm is a ball joint, it just goes in. It's got a guide. It fits every time. It's beautiful. The warriors, you have to do this awkward juggling thing with their arms and their gun, and they end up doing all these very eccentric poses. This is a little bit hard to clean because of the angle it's on. And one more. Ooh, this one's actually pretty hard to get to. I can't emphasize enough, though, how cool this is going to be when it's done. Right. So this arm goes into the primary slot. Maybe? No, it goes in the secondary slot. Okay. Alright, that fits in there nicely. Now this side goes into this one goes into the primary slot. Okay. So he has a back arm and a front arm holding the staff. And this is why we like having the play. Goes there. Always try and keep your model over the table. Oh my lord. Okay. So myself plug back in. So that's clean, and that's clean. So now you can put him aside momentarily. Very cool. I'm almost worried that it's still too high up, but we'll find out, I guess. That arm's like straight down. He just looks like a steeper angle from the image here. Alright. 21 and 22. So this one, once again, has some small flow channels and then a big honking one with a very thin piece connecting it. So you clean this smooth here. There's indentation in this part of the arm. Right there. And also connected here. There's a bit of a mold line along the entire arm. So that goes there. There's 3 connections here. Just want to smooth it out. I hate when they put flow channels on corrugated tube, because then you end up with this part that's just absolutely destroyed. But very lightly scraping, and you can pretty much maintain the shape. Excellent. So, they go together like this. It's so weird, because it's only half a hand, but it continues to only be half a hand when you stick it together. Well, that's a problem. When the needle falls out of your glue, we'll improvise real quick. Applicator. Wherefore art thou, applicator? We definitely can't do the rest of the model without the applicator. And of course it's nowhere to be found, except when I find it in the middle of a huge pile of dust. It's absolutely gross. Alright, free of dust, let us continue. So it looks like we're adding more of the hand with 24 and 23. Very delicate parts as well, these ones. As you might expect from fractions of a hand. Gently popping this one out. It has very, very small connection points. So I'm just going to support it and scrape it. Avoid the temptation to hold it by this part. Make sure you're holding only the tubular part, so that even if you change scraping directions, because you've got a burr starting, it's fully supported. And then for the bottom one, just hold it as best you can, right there. And this one, it's a little swirly. The challenge here is just don't break his finger off, and don't break the little blood swirl off. There, look, it broke. It was a very clean break, though. Just getting the angle back to normal. Okay. I don't know what you could do for that part. It's just going to be bothersome. So here, you can take the palm of the hand and just stick it back on. There we go. And then this cuff comes up underneath. Sticks on very nicely. Almost don't need glue. Alright, sit nicely. Then we want 17 and 18. It's another compound arm section. Man, why does 18 have to be like that? It's a very delicate swirly piece. It's very likely to break.
Boy.
Dave, you scared the dick off me.
Is it now orbiting Saturn?
Basically, I was like zoomed in on this stupidly delicate part.
I'm sorry for that.
So it's so thin in every direction.
Hopefully I didn't cause you to break anything.
No, I already broke something, but it went back together pretty easy. It's gonna be a problem with paint, though. So is that piece.
Well, quit breaking shit then, Mr. Schneider.
Look how thin it is, though.
Monsieur Schneider.
Anyway, this is the model so far.
I'm pulling up the screen. There we go. Nice.
This is the original model.
It looks nice.
He's twice the size. Thereabouts.
Jesus.
Alright.
Monsieur
Now,
Schneider.
this part, we're going to try and clean up without breaking it. It's just very gently rubbing in the direction
One
you
out.
want to go. You literally can't apply pressure to any part of this or it'll snap.
That fucking sucks. Me and Gabby desired sustenance, so we went to go get Chinese.
Alright, I literally can't touch that anymore. It'll break. So, we take the absolute thinnest part and stick it onto here.
Okay.
So this cuff gets finagled on. It's also the back of one of his fingers, so it wraps around. I don't know why they're putting so much torsion on a piece that's already delicate.
They assholes.
It's pretty cool though. He has like one really long augmented finger.
Wow.
Okay.
I think I'm possibly thin.
And these just go into the empty sockets. Theoretically, this one's more stable because I assembled it several minutes ago.
Huh?
And then this one wraps inside the first one. Kind of like that. Just gotta fiddle with it a little bit to get it seated properly. So I think that's pretty close. I think it doesn't quite match the image because I had to repair one of the pieces. The other angle looks right. We'll find out in a moment because there's another piece that connects to it. It's 27 and 28. It's incredible the number of pieces that are interconnected. Like, it builds a support network. When you go back and watch the stream later, if you so desire, you'll see the intricacies of how the legs and the base, like, amalgamate.
Is it that complex?
It's very clever. After I want to do this while the glue's still wet in case I need to adjust the angle. That's why I'm rushing this specific piece. And I will explain. Because this piece glues onto the swirl we just added. So if the angle's off a bit, I want to catch it while it's still setting. Okay, so this piece goes on like that. This fits in here like that. It's very important to dry fit each part.
Well, yeah.
And then it glues on here. And here.
Oh yeah, by the way, if you do your Twitch Prime thing, you get Hydroid Prime. I'm just ready to tell you, brother.
You know what, Dave?
What?
This isn't really time.
Okay, well, no. I'm not saying do it right now. I just
Okay, so
remembered.
we're off a little bit on the angle here. So just gotta adjust this other arm here to bring those two bits together. Now the swirl looks a lot more like the box art.
Was it tweaked a little bit?
It was. So this arm here connects to this swirl, which connects to this arm, which wraps into the swirl on this arm.
Okay.
The legs down here, this leg goes into this scenic terrain, which is then supported by this leg going into there.
Okay.
It's pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet.
Now I can do 25 and 26. which were just kind of decorative and off doing their own thing. It's got 4 main arms and 2 probing arms. There's nothing else on this side, so I'll just make my life a bit easier. Look at that. All this. Don't need it.
What ways?
So now instead of trying to finagle when I'm clipping things out, I can just clip it out of this part.
Okay.
Characters are the least wasteful models because they use the entire sprue usually. This will be a very similar process. Sits like that. And then like that.
That's hard.
And what did you work today?
Huh?
What did you work today?
I work the same shift every day. 8 to 5. Well, every day except for one. I work tomorrow is the odd one out where I work 8 to 6. Or 9 to 6 rather. Sorry. What was your shift today? You had the morning one, right?
Yeah, 6 2:30.
Yeah. Fucking sucks. Glad I don't have to fucking work that one anymore. Done that shift and hated every minute of it.
And that's looking pretty good.
It is looking pretty good.
Now we take our little black stone piece down here. So this specific part is what gives him his new anti-psychic ability.
What's the anti-psychic ability?
A psyker within a bespoke radius, whenever they take a psychic test, also takes Perils of the Warp on any doubles instead of just double ones or double sixes.
What's Perils of the Warp?
You basically roll and take D3 mortal wounds.
Damn.
Double ones, you take the wounds and fail the cast. Double sixes, you succeed but take the wounds.
So either, no matter what you do, you're taking damage.
Yeah.
That
But
fucking sucks.
with Szeras, if you roll double anything, you take damage. In addition to any special rules you have, like some psychers have special abilities that boost their psychic power, but also take extra damage on doubles. So then they would take like 2d3 damage from a double if they failed their own ability and also Szeras.
Damn. You sir are a dick and a scoundrel.
Good. So now we take 34.
Good, keep it that way.
31. So we like.
51.
30. And we tidy her up.
What do you work tomorrow?
I'm off tomorrow.
You're off tomorrow? So what's the plan for tonight?
Well, I will have a brief break for grandma time. And then we could play Total War, or I could do something on PlayStation.
I mean, we're already doing Warhammer stuff. We may as well get some Total War out of the way. It's a good night to do it because I go into work an hour later.
It's true.
And this also gives me a little time beforehand to knock out my Destiny stuff.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Destiny earlier.
How'd it go for you?
I need one more run of the Menagerie to get more items to drop, whatever they're called.
Menagerie, really?
Yeah, it's
I know what it is. I'm just, why are you running Menagerie?
because it's not Crucible.
Why not just do Gambit?
That's basically Crucible. How does this guy sit on here?
Wait, I forget you're profoundly anti-Gambit.
There we go.
I'm just rocking Ruinous Effigy and generally being scum.
A little blue on this side. And then somehow this foot stabbed into his back. Like that. And once again, it clips in so nicely, you almost don't even need glue.
Fits together that well.
Yeah. Like, you see that click? That's mint.
Yeah, I did. That's awesome.
I'm going to add a little bit more glue to this side, though. Because plastic glue is more like a weld, I do want it to melt and hide the line.
Of course.
We're almost done. So 2 more pieces. I'm going to take his little hand here. And his little everything else. And very carefully snip it out. There's a snipping order, so you don't break anything. That's it. There's nothing else in the sprue.
Who's getting screwed?
I'm sorry. Zimada.
Give me my void spear. I want to punch things.
I also need to do that thing on the moon and get arc kills with abilities on Noctmares.
Oh, yeah. I remember that ship.
This piece is trying very hard to snap.
First refinement done. How many of these do I got to do?
Alright. So this part
one more.
on like this.
So I'm trying to figure out whether I want to spend the $5 to buy the ornament for Ruinous Effigy. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. There's a Sabbath's Eye here that needs to be destroyed. Be blinded, bitch. Yeah, for those who don't know, Ruinous Effigy is the key to destroying Sabathun's eyes everywhere.
Yes, I don't have such a thing, so.
The quest you're working on is what gives it to you. Give it to you. Or they'd be like, give it to me.
Okay.
Well, probably with more enthusiasm.
Okay. So something like this. And this contacts here.
Did you hear any of the arguments between Eris and the Drifter? I think they're pretty funny.
I don't think so.
They argue like an old married couple.
Well, I'll have to do. And this just glues into the last leg hole. And also there's a wire. So this part of his staff needs to connect to this part of the bloodstream.
So the specific one you're working on, the larger version, is a specialized version of the smaller one you showed me to begin with, correct? Just make sure I got that right. Like a unique variant?
So he's upgraded himself. Basically, the Silent King returned, and because he's the greatest cryptech of all time, he was commissioned to upgrade the Silent King's dynasty because they were largely destroyed. Because the Necron's really angry about the Silent King being a dick to them. So
I'd be too, all things considered.
their tomb worlds got sacked, especially by the Sawtek dynasty, as Emotech basically assumed control. Then when the Silent King returned, he commissioned a refurbishment from Illuminor Szeras.
Okay. And as part of the deal, he got to upgrade himself, too.
More or less.
That's a pretty good deal, I would say.
Slide them a bit further back on this base. I do like to, when I'm putting models on a base, like stick them down and give them a little slide, because it makes the plastic glue really thin, and it also smears the plastic a little bit, which roughs up the surface and gives them a better bond.
Helps the adhesion.
Yeah, it basically creates more contact points. There we go. Illuminor Szeras.
Looks good.
Look better if I can get the focus.
Fuck yeah, man. Well done.
So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, drop us a follow. Helps out a lot. And subscribe if you're affluent. And we will catch you next time. Bye for now.